I rolled a stick of weed for myself. Relaxing against the soft cushions, I enjoyed the mellow feeling of contentment that flowed through my body. I realized that, with a house full of women, I should value this stolen time. To be alone for just a few moments gave me a tranquility that was indeed rare. I'd never before seen a wall painted black, that is, not in a hotel. It complemented the blood-red carpet. Turning my head, I took in the enamel white wall, with its louvered door through which Boots had walked. At the far end of the room, set between the flat black wall and a mild orange-colored one, was a Nero reclining couch. Placed between this and another like it, both upholstered in leopard skin, sat a large palm plant that appeared to be growing out of the carpet. By a large window, behind the sofa I sat on, stood a floor-to-ceiling cylindrical lamp. It seemed to be made of frosted glass, with small curlicue designs etched into its surface. Looking up, I felt a strange sensation as the zebra patterns on the ceiling gave an illusion of melting together. To me, this was a hip joint. I stood up and walked over to the Grundig stereo, sitting below the abstract painting. As I turned on the switch, the sounds of violins filled the room. Although I'm strictly a blues and jazz fiend, the mellow sound of strings in that room seemed appropriate, so I left it on. "Whoreson, what the hell is that on the box?" Boots asked me from the opened bedroom door. "It's music, woman. You think the whole world listens to nothing but Jimmy Smith and Little Richard?" "Oh, Daddy, I was just asking." I walked back to the sofa, and taking some zigzag papers from my coat pocket, sat down and opened the envelope, pouring its contents of dark green reefer onto the long, glass-top coffee table. Boots walked over and said in a sexual voice, "Lace me up, Daddy." "Turn around." I stood up and made a bow in the 2 silk strings hanging from the back of a transparent, hemmed-in-mink, pink silk negligee. "Boots, called down the room service and had him send up a 5th of Johnny Walker Red and 6 bottles of beer." As she walked towards the telephone, she reminded me of what a top-notch whore should look like. The mink that ran around the hem of her negligee bounced softly from her half-exposed buttocks. They were large for her size, but without flaws. Her dark thighs and legs were second to none I had seen, and she drew tricks like bees to honey. After reseating myself, I began to roll a few joints. "And a bucket of ice," I called after her. She stuck her tongue out at me, but relayed my message to the desk. After hanging up, she came over and lowered herself to the carpet in front of me. I lit up a joint and handed it to her. "Now be good, honey," I said, and pried her inquiring hands loose. "Daddy, I'm always good," she said, and then started doing what I knew she would do. I took the joint from her hand and leaned back on the sofa. Smiling up at me, she unzipped my pants and began fumbling around for the separation in my shorts. "Why don't you just ask me to take 'em off?" I asked. "It's more fun this way," she said, and after finally getting a grip on what she was after, she began squeezing and pulling gently, then lowered her head. I felt the warmth of her mouth move up from my thighs and settle deep into my stomach. Each movement of her tongue sent frantic sensations up and down my spine until I didn't think I could stand it any more. Through the pounding of my heart and the roaring in my mind, I heard a metallic sound. The door opened, and Diane walked in. "God damn!" she yelled. "Every time I look around, that bitch got a yard of dick down her throat." Diane pulled her wig off and walked across the room. "Damn, I'm tired," she said as she sat down. She stared at Boots for a few moments. "Damn, bitch, ain't you got no shame, cum-loving whore?" Boots stopped and looked around. "Why, tramp, you jealous?" "You damn right I'm jealous, dick-loving whore. I've been out catching tricks all day, and you sit up here with your black ass sucking all the life out of Whoreson. Well, don't worry, little white girl. You'll get your chance." Diane capped. "I know damn well I get my chance if you ever turn the meat loose, black-ass cow." I stood up and straightened up my clothes. Diane looked down at Boots and removed a large roll of bills from her bra and laid them on the coffee table. With her last remark aimed at Boots, she said, "With Trix outside riding bumper to bumper, all this sorry bitch could catch would be a cold." She turned on her heel and walked into the bedroom. Boots got up off the floor and sat down on the couch. "Daddy, I was thinking you might have some trouble out of that fella that was down in the lobby." I stared at her silently for a few moments before answering. "The only thing that nigga better do, baby, is try to get along with me, 'cause I ain't letting nobody put no static in my game." The telephone rang, and Boots answered it. I'd made it a point never to answer a phone whenever there was a woman in the house, because sometimes Trix called, and if a man answered, they would hang up. Boots waved the receiver towards me. "It's for you, Daddy." I took the phone out of her hand. "Who is it, baby?" "It sounds like Dot." I frowned at the receiver. Dot was one of my most recent cops. Ever since I'd had her, she seemed always to get into difficulties. "What is it, honey?" I asked into the phone. Her voice came over the line, shaking and scared. "Whoreson, I'm sorry about not being on the track, but my brother seen me standing on the corner and made me go home with him." I shouted into the phone. "Bitch, you mean to tell me that your brother is the reason that my trap money is going to be shitty?" "But Whoreson, he seen me on the corner and made me go home with him," I snarled. "Tell the real whore. I don't hear no baby screaming in the background, so I know you ain't over to his house now. So just what is the reason? The real deal, bitch. Just why are you presenting this weak shit to me? Is your money funny, ho? Or have you been out yarding somewhere?" She started to cry into the receiver. "Daddy, I'm not lying. I had to climb out the bedroom window to get away." "Bitch!" I exploded. "I should make you go back to his house and walk out the front door. Dumbass bitch, don't you realize that when you out there on the corner, you represent me? And what you do reflects on me? Now how do you think I'm going to feel if people get to talking about my woman had to climb out of a window because her brother didn't like what she was doing?" "But Whoreson, did nobody see me come out the window?" "Shut up, bitch, and listen. It ain't the idea that anyone saw you come out the window. It's the fact that I know you came out the window. My whore had to climb out of some goddamn window because her winehead brother took her home." I interrupted her reply. "Just shut up and listen. I ought to kill you, bitch, but I ain't. I'm going to give you another chance. Now I want you to get your ass back up on that track and get my money right. If your brother should come back up there looking for you, don't hide. Just tell him that you're up there taking care of my business. And I don't want him blocking my game." I continued, "If he should take you home anyway, don't climb out no windows, bitch. Just walk out the front door. Now, if you don't think you can handle this, I'll take you back over to your brother's house and talk to him myself." Before she could hang up mad, I smoothed her feelings so she wouldn't go to work mad. "Listen, honey, all young girls make mistakes when they first go to work, so don't feel bad about it. This all goes along with the making of a good whore. If whoring was easy, every woman you see would be out in the streets with her legs in the air. But it takes a certain kind of woman to be a good whore, so most of them back up from it 'cause they be lazy, and it just ain't in them." She was quiet for a moment. "Daddy, I'm going to be a good whore, ain't I?" "Sure you are, baby. But it just takes hard work. Now don't forget, I don't want to see you getting in your father's car if he ain't spending no money. You understand?" She laughed. "Whoreson, you wouldn't want me to trick with my daddy, would you?" "Not really, honey," I grinned, then added, "unless he was going to spend a sure-'nough big buck. Then I think you could handle it." She was still laughing when I hung the phone up. Boots picked up a joint from the coffee table. "Pimp hard, Daddy, pimp hard." I laughed coldly. "Yeah, baby," I said, and looked at my watch. "You can start getting ready for the track, too, Miss Fine." Diane came into the room with the bellboy, who was bringing up the whiskey and beer I'd ordered earlier. She was wearing a pair of very tiny panties, with a see-through bra. The bellboy, who was about 40, couldn't keep his eyes off her. The hallway door opened, and a troop of my women came in. They were all scantily dressed, and the bellboy didn't know which one to look at. His eyes were going back and forth like pinballs. The girls, noticing his excitement, began to harass him. Diane stepped up and took control. "Honey, you saw me first, didn't you? So why you making all them eyes at them sluts? Don't you think I can handle your problem, honey?" He shook his head up and down, dumbly, and she took his hand and steered him into the bedroom. In less than 5 minutes, he was back out of the bedroom, looking around sheepishly. Diane escorted him to the door. "Be sure to ask for me the next time you come up, big fella. Here?" she said sweetly. As soon as he left, Diane pulled a $10 bill out of her bra and twisted her hips provocatively as she crossed the living room. "You see, girls, what a good whore gets? He paid for the drink that you all are trying to consume, and plus, he tipped me this for being so sweet." The girls laughed and talked and gossiped until I interrupted. "Well, ladies, the party is over, and I know you have all had your kicks, but the time has come for you all to catch some tricks." I settled back on the couch with Diane in my arms and watched them prepare to go to work. It still took better than an hour before they had all dressed and departed, leaving just Diane and me in the suite.